He was the truest of true Southern gentlemen.
Yes, he was.
He had a passion for people. He didn't meet a stranger. His love for his wife was obvious. And he's one of the most caring people that I've ever known.
Some people leave a mark so deep on the world around them that their presence is felt long after they're gone. Bill Black was one of those people. A believer in God, a friend, a mentor, a servant leader, a husband, a father, a brother, and above all, someone who lived his life with a heart wide open. Bill served in his church, the First Baptist Church of Lynn Haven, as well as many community organizations. A few of the most notable are the Boys and Girls Club for about 37 years, BBIA for about 25 years, and the Oakland Terrace Men's Club for 9 years. Bill was a simple yet complex man. Today, we're going to spend a little time with you peeling back the onion on his complexities. Now, not to worry, it will be an enjoyable onion, not one meant for crying, but instead a sweet one, filled with joy and love that brings to light the origin of this event you are attending today. Before we get into the deeper parts of this onion, story, let's start with an easy outer layer of love. Love for food, that is, and a little about the importance to Bill.
You know, Bill was he was a skinny fella, but he liked to eat.
I tell you what, one thing I will say about Bill is when we traveled, he always said, "Hank, we gotta get to a steakhouse."
I also got that when I was ordering pizza.
Oh, you did?
I got it for pizza. And then he'd say, Glo used to cook for us and bring homemade food.
Yes, I did do that.
And I said, Bill, you don't want me to cook. I'm good at a lot of things. Cooking's not one of them.
And he used to come with his bread and make toad in a hole and do pancakes and sausage. Not the best breakfast, I understand, if you're health-wise, but we loved it.
He loved cooking. He loved cooking at the game dinners. He loved cooking for people.
Okay, well, you thought we were finished with the food part, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention his infamous hot dog vendor days.
Then he told me that he had actually been a hot dog vendor for a while.
When Bill would work the concession stand, he never got off to the back. He would just scream back there, "Hey, we need another hot dog. Hey, we need some more popcorn." And he would just wait for them to bring it to him.
He would yell at Uncle Kenny.
So we put the hot dog cart out at Pier Park. He'd help me set everything up. Well, it was gas, and I'm terrified of gas burners. And he'd set everything up, and he'd light the burner, and he'd like, "Now, Jennifer, you gotta pay attention because those hot dogs have to stay at a temperature, or the health people are gonna come by and shut you down. I'm gonna leave and go back on the town side to go to work. Are you good?" "Yeah, I'm great." Whoosh! And my flame would burn out on the burner. And I was like, uh-oh, the burner's out. The hot dogs are going to get cold. And I'm like, "I need you to come back out here." And he's like, "Why?" And I said, "You got to light my flame." And he goes, "No." Here he'd come, and he'd light the flame again. And he's like, "It's lit." He goes, "Are you good for a while?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm good. I'm sorry I called you." "It's okay."
I bet you're laughing now. Let's keep those smiles going, especially because that's another huge part of Bill Black, a man who always had a smile on his face. Don't take my word for it. Listen to what these folks had to
I
say.
couldn't tell you what made Bill smile bigger because he always had a smile.
Whenever you ran into Bill at a meeting, he was always had a smile on his face.
He lit up the room. He was always smiling. He was always there to greet you with a hug and a hello.
You know, we loaded up the truck and drove over to the boys club and handed out all those gloves to the kids so they could have a glove to play. But Bill enjoyed going with me over to donating those gloves to all those kids. That put a smile on his face.
Now, so what do you think this next layer of our sweet onion might be? Wouldn't a man with a smile all the time have a big heart too? Yup. I see those heads nodding. Well, let's listen to what some others said about not only his smiles, but Bill being a man with a big heart who actively loved.
He loved. He really loved, and he didn't have to say much to do it.
He always he gave his heart to everything he did.
Bill's heart is bad. And he goes, no, Bill's heart is great. He said, it's not working right, but Bill's heart is never bad.
He had the biggest serving heart, much of what Glow said, the community, everything. He was so passionate about it, and he would do whatever he could to help wherever. He would always say, you know I got you. You know I got you.
That was Bill's heart. He was all about service. He showed up when he needed it, or when we needed it, really, and was just impactful.
All right, I imagine that peeling back of the onion may have caused a few tears, but dry those eyes. I now want to share with you some details of how he actively loved others and how those efforts made him a man who is a community builder. Metaphorically, not just physically, as all you builders and contractors may be thinking. Straighten up in those chairs and listen closely to what these next folks have to say. We have much we can learn from Bill in this next layer that we can carry with us to be our own community builders through connections, camaraderie, fellowship, and much more.
Well, I just think he really liked the camaraderie. He loved interacting with people. He loved building. He did a lot of his own building, constantly remodeling his home. So he understood construction and liked people in the construction industry and just wanted to be involved. And he put that passion to helping the BBI become a better organization.
He was a great community builder. He was so comforting and an enjoyment to be around.
Bill, to me, was a big connector. He enjoyed bringing people together and collaborating and working together. He did a lot with Boys and Girls Club and the BBIA. He believed in pouring back into the community. That is one of the things that was important to him, and you could tell it by everything that he did every day.
And so he really was able to get the connections and conversations started to happen quickly when they needed to happen.
And being that Bill was involved just made it that much stronger that we really wanted to reach out and help this organization because of Bill's commitment to it and to the commitment of Oakland Terrace. It was just a win-win for everybody when he got involved.
You know, Bill being with BBIA was very instrumental in trying to push for us to do workforce development and partner with the BBIA. And he was a connector of people. Bill introduced me to a lot of different people, Stacy being one of them.
I think he was most passionate about being involved in the community, which that has evolved for the BBIA over a period of time. And then he always gave back to the community.
He was always doing something out in the community, whether it was a golf event or the shooting tournament or even at our Christmas tree lot. Bill would show up and put in the work.
Man, what a thick layer that was. I can see many of you taking notes about how you, too, can carry forward the great impact that Bill had on the community. Now, let me let you in on this next hidden layer, a bit of a secret, as one might say. Besides Bill's faith in our Lord, I think many might say his secret to pulling community together was that he was a man of making personal connections. One that would make you feel seen, valued, and ensure that you believed everything was going to be okay. Let's hear what a few folks had to say about his secret gift.
He made an effort to get to know you, and he was always very persuasive in letting you know how much he cared about you and what you were doing.
Bill had a way to make you feel proud of whatever you were doing. Every Saturday, Bill Black would walk into C&G Sporting Goods, and it was incredible to have somebody rooting for you like that.
He and Jennifer would be there, and they were so looking forward to it, and he was real proud of me. He was just so encouraging and kind, and he provided that love and support and compassion for everybody he knew.
Bill would call me every Thursday, 3 o'clock, like clockwork. and asked if we were playing softball that night.
Bill remembered intimate details about people's lives, and he asked them about those things. That's a gift. That's a gift. You don't learn how to do that.
So, question for you. How do you think Bill could keep track of all these details? Sure, God helped, but what else? It's because he was a man who always showed up, no matter what.
If he said he'd be there, he was going to be there. He'd commit to it, and he would give you everything he got. And
I just felt that Bill, there was just no quit in him. Just no quit. He wanted to move forward, even with his health problems that he had. It wasn't going to stop him from doing what he wanted to do and being involved in the different organizations that he's involved in, the BBIA, the Boys and Girls Club.
I can remember seeing him out there in a big coat and it's freezing, and I was like, Bill, what are you doing here? And he was like, well, somebody's got to be here, you know, and I've been doing this for 37 years.
I can't remember an event that he did not attend or help with. I mean, he was Johnny on the spot for everything.
He would call me from the hospital. Well, I don't think I can make the meeting today. I'm in the hospital. I'm like, why are you calling me? But that's how dedicated he was and didn't want to let anybody down.
All right. I've been warned that I can't keep y'all here much longer, so you can move on with the festivities of this first annual Bill Black Wild Game Luncheon. I have just one more layer to share with you about Bill's love, not just for the community, but for Jennifer. Here's Jennifer's side of the story.
I think Cupid must have shot me with an arrow at that moment, because at that moment I fell in love with Bill Black. And I stopped, and I had gotten Bill a card, and I got him a little stuffed animal. And then it was later that night, and I told my daughter, I said, I'm going to do a stalking thing, and we're going to drive by the house, and I'm just going to set this on his car. And my daughter's like, what is wrong with you? What's happening here? A couple of months later, I'm working, and the receptionist says, Jennifer, there's somebody here that wants to see you. And I was like, okay. And she goes, I think it's Mr. Black. Oh my goodness. And he's like, yeah, so I got you this just kind of as a thank you. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. And I'm writing my phone number down because I'm thinking maybe he's going to ask me out and I need to kind of move this along. And he goes, well, so I was thinking, and I was like, yeah. And he's like, I was just wondering if, yes. Yes. And he was like, if maybe you would, maybe go out with me. Yes. I'd love to.
Well, I'm sure there are some tears and some smiles in the room and some warmed hearts. I must share a few additional words that others said about Bill's love for Jennifer.
Bill loved his family, and then when Jennifer came in, it just broadened that love for all of them being together and doing things. He talked about it all the time, and especially Jennifer all the time. He'd make jokes and do some things, but deep down, boy, it was all what he could do for Jennifer.
Seeing and being with his wife, Jennifer.
Absolutely.
Jennifer, the love of his life.
We're approaching the end of our story of Bill Black, and it's time to reveal how and why this event came to life in Bill's honor. Take a listen.
So in 2022, very early on, we had a clay shoot, and all of us girls were out there freezing. And I started standing around and looking at all the women that were there and thinking, you know what, it's time. We need to really get a women in construction group started. And Kurt said, that's great. Bill was like, yeah, definitely. And then it proceeded to get so excited about it. He would start telling everybody that was a woman in his path that we were going to be starting a women in construction committee at the time, and it just flourished.
Well, the real reason he wanted to do the women in construction is because who doesn't love women?
That's right.
he'd been involved in different game feeds before, the outdoors, hunting and stuff. He's a major gun owner, loved his guns that he owned. So it was just a natural fit, I think. And it was something that Bill understood and knew how to do, and just felt it'd be a great opportunity for the women in construction to be able to be their initial kickoff event.
Bill was excited about y'all. He was excited about the women in construction group. It made him happy. And I think that's why he suggested the game dinner. Bill knew he had been through all of them. He had done them. He knew that would be a great fundraiser. He knew that would be a big thing for y'all. He saw with you all, here's a group of people that are coming up, and they need to be successful. I want them to be successful. And yeah, he was going to be your biggest cheerleader.
We reached the center of the onion, the core of who Bill Black was. At the very heart, you'll find faith, love, and community. Bill lived a life that nourished others, and though he may no longer be with us in body, his spirit is forever woven into the fabric of our lives. May we all take a piece of that sweet onion with us today, sharing its flavor of joy, kindness, and connection everywhere we go. That is how we keep Bill's legacy alive.